Hey, what's up, YouTube? This Monosynchro here, bringing you deck of the month for November. Um, this time I'm bringing you, it's a pretty standard build in my opinion, but I don't know. There's two ways to run this deck. This deck of the month is gonna be for Infernities. I wanted to do this deck of the month primarily because a lot of people are saying that Infinities are dead, and that's not true. The only reason why not a lot of people are playing it and is not seeing so much play is because people pretty much jumped into the Blackwing bandwagon and X Sabers and Quick Draw and stuff like that. So they don't feel like having to think more sometimes or like take the risk of playing Infinities because they feel like the rewards might not be as high than the costs of running the actual deck. But yeah, and just to prove a point that the deck is not dead at all. So yeah, let me get started. You obviously run the three Archfiends. This is pretty much staple. It's some amazing top deck when you have no cards in hand, and it just gets all your stuff started. You run three Necromancers because again, it's like Archfiend. If you top deck it, you can special summon Archfiend from the graveyard and then just get a launcher and then just do a bunch of stuff. Um, you used to run two Mirages, but now you run three, simply because it's a good top deck, and not to mention that thanks to the new support of Stygian Street Patrol, like you can now get it to your hand, and even if you normal summoned, you can like remove Stygian Street Patrol to special summon this, and then just pop it again, and just do more combos. So not to mention that with a 100 Eyes Dragon, you can keep removing them to use 100 Eyes to pop itself to get its effect, and then just keep pretty much bringing back Archfiend and stacking barriers. That's pretty much what you do with this deck now. It's more control based. It's still OTKs, but not as often because you don't really bounce with this deck. As you will see, I run two Avengers. I do not run the Beatles. I feel like the Beatles are not necessary anymore, for the simple reason that this deck is meant to control your opponent, and it's pretty much an OTK because after you do all your combos and you have like three barriers face down and your opponent has like four cards, it's like you pretty much can negate almost everything they have. So it's like it doesn't matter anymore to bounce their stuff. Not to mention that you don't want to give them like a Gore's play and stuff like that. So two Avengers pretty much get the job done. They get you to your level 8s pretty good. Pretty standard here. Two Greffers get, it just allows you to dump everything, and it just makes it so much quicker. You run the new support, which is two Stygian Street Patrol. These cards are really good. Like I said, you dump it to the graveyard with Greffer, or if you have it in your hand, Inferno, dump it, and then like dump two other cards, and then like just remove it to special summon an Archfiend, special summon a Necromancer, special summon a Mirage, and it just makes it for the deck to flow more easily, and it's more consistent that way. You run the one random plague spreader because like sometimes you draw like double monster, like you have one more monster that doesn't let you go off that turn because you have a launcher face down maybe. So what you can do is top deck for plague, maybe an Archfiend or something if you don't have a Stygian Street Patrol in the graveyard, and then just bring it out and then just activate launcher, and he will let you just synchro summon more. But it's more important to like get rid of that card in the hand. So that's it. That's 16 monsters. You really don't run that high of a count. So onto the traps. You run triple barrier now. This is the card that is pretty much making Infinity still playable. If this card would have gotten hit, maybe then it would have not been so good for Infinities. But having three Solemns is still pretty broken, and the ability to search them out so quickly is still amazing. And it's the only deck that has three Solemns. So I mean, why not run three cards that are really broken and pretty much control your opponent? I only run two Infernos because, like I said, well, you're running two Greffers. You're running, well, I run a Foolish Burial as well, as you're gonna see right now. So there's like no need for the third one because it could become a dead draw. So you only really need two, and just to go off. Um, the staples, two bottomless trap holes, just to control more your opponent more. I run one Raigeki break. This card, it was not seen play before because you really didn't need it, but now it's such a good card because instead of running Raigeki break, like this card allows you to remove like an Infinity card from your graveyard and pop a card on the field. I believe it's your opponent's side of the field. Yeah, and what you can do is remove like a dead launcher that you have in your graveyard and then pop a monster. or a card that's giving you trouble maybe. So it's a really good card, and if it just helps you because sometimes you have a fourth archfiend that comes in, and you're done searching barriers, so you want to search this, and just have like 5 backfield. So it's a pretty good card. The staples: Torrential, Mirror Force, Solemn, and I also run a Call of the Haunted because you want to be able to special summon the Archfiend and Phase or something. Be able to get something. I don't know. Like sometimes they MST it and you chain it. You like get a Archfiend and then grab a card. So it's a pretty good card. For the spells, I run triple Book of Moon. More protection stalls out for you to get your combos. So it's a must in every deck. Um, Two MSTs. They're still pretty good. Even if you hit a random card, like that random card could be a Solemn, it could be like anything that's gonna mess you up. So being able to go 1 for 1 and then like not to mention it's just you play it, it's random, but it gets rid of 1 card in your hand to get rid of a potential threat that your opponent has. So you must run it in Infernities. The one Foolish Burial because sometimes you just need that one piece, or sometimes you can just Foolish Burial a Stygian Street Patrol, and let's say you have like a Necromancer in your hand, not a Necromancer, a Mirage, and you don't want a normal summon because you don't want to waste your normal. You just Foolish Burial Stygian, remove Stygian, special summon the Mirage, and then just do all that shenanigan stuff. You're under one Rhoda because you want to get to the Grepher faster. Thins out the deck too. The one launcher, even though it's at one, it's still super broken and it allows you to get a lot of synchros out. 1 for 1 because you want to get to the Mirage faster and it discards a card from your hand. So it's a good card that lets the deck flow. Monster Reborn, obvious. Dark Hole, obvious. And Giant Trunade because you need to be able to get rid of your opponent's back row. And then go like do all your combos, set all your back row, and then just pass. Yeah, that's pretty much the deck, guys. For the synchro deck, you only really need to run like Infernity Doom Dragon because he's pretty good. Just in case your opponent has like a Gores, you attack with everything and then leave him till last. And if they do bring it out, then you pop it and then they just take half the damage. So you only really need one. You should also run a Stygian Surgeons or Stygian Surgeon or whatever. He's pretty good. Attacks once. If it destroys a monster, it attacks again and gains 800. So it's a pretty good card because it helps you get in there and just OTK your opponent faster. So it's a pretty good card. And I only have one of these, but you need to be running 3 of these because the ability to be able to synchro into 8s a lot. What you would do is synchro for him, remove a Mirage, pop him, and then like get the Archfiend and Necromancer, and then search like an Infinity Barrier, like synchro again for 8, synchro for him again. If you have another Mirage, remove the Mirage and pop. So if you have like 3 Mirages, you can potentially search all your barriers if you haven't drawn any, and at the end like you can pretty much have like an Archfiend, like one of these, and one of these. So 4 monsters with 3 barriers and Infinity Break and something else. And it's like your opponent won't be able to come back from that. It's like it's impossible to come back from that. Your opponent would have to waste so many resources to try to even get even. So the deck is broken, guys. Like I mean, the deck has not died. If you play it correctly, this deck is like it has a lot of rewards. Like I said, game 1 it just wrecks. Game 2, sure they're gonna try to side in like effect veilers. Whatchamacallit, Effect Veilers, DD Crow, like Thunder Kings, but you can counter all that easily because since you're running a really low monster count, like you can switch a lot of stuff in the deck, making it like so that you can switch it to whatever you want. You can pretty much go into like anti-meta or like switch it to like I don't know, like a Gravekeeper deck if you wanted to. Like there's a lot of options you can do with this deck. So don't think that you have to run this deck like that and like leave it like that. Like you can play this deck competitively and it'll work. But yeah, guys, that's deck of the month. I just wanted to show you guys real quickly, and yeah, comment, resubscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.